seed, and I want you to think about this for a bit. Mother Nature does not use the color blue very often in her palette. She really doesn't. Reds are prevalent. There's a lot of yellow flowers. I've got crocus coming up right now. So excited about that. You see oranges. You don't see blue. Even blueberries aren't blue, they're purple. It's a big lie. But these are truly, truly blue. This is referred to as sea holly. And the word before that is Blaukappe, right?
Blaukappe, yes.
Which means?
Blue hat.
Blue hat.
Yes.
These are truly, they look like painted plants.
Don't they?
And you're getting a nice three-piece set. This is a plant that matures quickly, becomes a really different way of adding a little variety into an already existing garden. And they come to us from our friends at Cottage Farms. Katie,
yes.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
This is Katie Dubow, and it's always good to have you here. This is a perennial, so it's going to come back year in, year out. And I vowed that this year I was only going to plant, with the exception of my vegetables, pollinators.
Yes, and pollinators are vegetable plants too. I mean,
yeah,
vegetables are pollinator plants too.
But I want to draw butterflies. I want to draw hummingbirds.
Yes.
We're starting with honeybees for the first time this year.
That's
we have
awesome.
6 hives. But blue is that one color that when you put it in a garden, everybody notices.
Striking. And not only is it striking because of the color, but it's almost a metallic blue in your garden. It has a shine to it.
Yeah.
And it's got that texture that you so want in the garden. We have such beautiful flowers and opportunities in our garden to have different petal types. And with this one, you've got this shiny, metallic, really neat looking star-shaped flower. Almost looks like a thistle, but they are so unique, and they are that metallic-y blue silver color.
And they're a wonderfully hardy plant. This is kind of an old world perennial.
Yeah.
So, but it's one that most people have just never seen around here. And it actually thrives in the crappiest of soil.
It does.
Like if you have a sandy soil, where water drains out pretty quick, it loves that.
Yep. It takes the heat, it takes the drought, but it also can take the cold. So if you live in an area that gets below freezing, you can have this plant too. So that's what I love this plant for all those reasons, the color, but really because this is one of those super pollinator plants. As Dan said, I'm very passionate about gardening for wildlife as well, but look at that color. Is that not just unbelievable? And it will be loaded with butterflies, moths, those little creatures that we want to attract to our garden. But the creatures that we don't want to attract to our garden, like the deer, rabbits, this is not something that they will go to or they will gravitate to. In fact, you can plant this around some of your plants that they do gravitate to as sort of a barrier field.
And that's what most people, unless you're fortunate enough to have just recently moved into a new place, your gardens are kind of established. You've got your perennials that you've had for a few years. That's why this is such a magical plant, is you can add it into things that you've already got to be able to just raise that excitement level. And these thrive in direct sunlight.
They do. They'll take the heat. That's what our pollinator plants, one of my tricks is, our pollinator plants, if you know it is, they love full sun. Yeah. And that's at least 6 hours of sun a day. These are a nice sized plant. They get to be 30 inches at their height. And you talked about
max out. So
they max out. That's right.
They don't grow crazy on you, and they will actually drop their own seeds.
Yes.
But they won't. They
spread.
Yeah, they're not going to make you crazy like other plants do. It's just a great old world plant. Show us how they're going to come to us, and also show us how to plant.
Well, I would love to, because you just said they're great. If you have an established garden, we have got you covered, because what we're doing now, we're delivering some of our plants in new ways. These are called landscape plugs. This is how the growers grow. So this is, Gabby Kerr called these plants in concentrate, and I love that term, because this is going to be the same root system in this plant, in this plug, as you would get in a 3-inch pot. But they're all packed into this little concentrated plug. And it's so easy to take this and establish and tuck these into your already established garden. Yep. I have a broken wrist, but look, I can still plant 4 of these plants easily. Nothing stops me.
Nothing even slows you down.
You can just tuck these in amongst your other plants. We have some roses coming up later in the show. These work great with roses because they won't compete with the roots, but they also love full sun. And can you imagine those 2 colors together, the blue with those pinks? Look, I just planted 4 plants in under 30 seconds. So the plugs make it easier for you to plant, but it also makes it easier on the plant. These will establish quickly.
Yep.
This year, maybe they won't be as fast as that 3-inch pot, but by year 2, they'll be caught up, and dare I say, they will be bigger and better.
And if you love a truly formal garden, maybe these aren't exactly what you're looking. This does have this kind of wonderfully woodland, natural.
Yes, it does.
And that's what I've been looking for.
Yeah.
I want my gardens to be welcome mats and friendly.
Yes.
And it's a plant that just most people have completely forgotten about.
It's true. I was at a garden here in the area called Chanticleer. It's one of my favorite gardens to visit here in Pennsylvania. And they have this wonderful teacup garden. And this sea holly was planted around a water feature. And it was just twisting and turning around other plants, growing beautifully together. And I just thought, that plant is so eye-catching. It's so unique. It's so different than any other plant we've seen in the garden.
And for cut flowers, maybe by itself, it's impressive, but when it's added into other things.
And here is the rose collection that we have coming up, the Tough as Nails collection. And we just popped some sea holly in here so you can see how it would work in an arrangement or how the colors can work so nicely in your garden.
I've heard this plant referred to as blue glitter.
Yes.
Before, and it is. It's a silvery blue. It's magic. If you love roses, and my mother was madly in love with roses.
Me too.
Roses used to be tough. In fact, roses were the element that real gardeners were judged by. I've got roses that are too dumb to die.
Yeah.
Coming up a little bit later on with you, Katie.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.